Gaffer, obviously really positive last few weeks here. This last week in particular, the sun's been shining, been out on the grass pitch. How's it been training?
Yeah, I'm surprised I've not seen rain this week in Manchester, so that's a positive. But yeah, really good. I think that the atmosphere at the last couple of weeks has been really good at the training ground. The lads have put the work in, but there's been a real good feel about the place, which is great after 3 unbeaten now. Hopefully we can take that going forward. But after some really positive results lately, the mood in the camp's really good. Training's been good. So hopefully we can continue that going into next week and the rest of the season.
I suppose over these last couple of weeks as well, it's been great to just have the Saturday games to focus on. So you've had that full week with the lads out on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got resting some when we needed to rest them. We've got a lot of work and information into them again as well. Obviously looking to like different games. Obviously Wimbledon away on Saturday would probably be a different game to what Morecambe is. So obviously we're obviously putting things into the lads' heads in terms of what the opposition's like, etc., as well as can we try and layer our own performances, get better with our own performances and what we can do better or feel we can do better. But we've had really good positive sort of after the sort of Crewe and Carlisle games. I think the response has been really good. And I know I've even on some podcasts and stuff, and the word mentality has been branded about, and I have used that a lot. But I think it's really big in this league, and I think especially when you're down, or you've been struggling this season. I think that I think after the Crewe game where we've that sort of 2-0 to 3-0, and we kind of went under a little bit. I think since then we've been really, really good, and you can just tell even in training, the atmosphere, the mentality in training's changed. The mentality in terms of the group, the staff, the way we work has changed. So sometimes when you're a new manager coming in, you probably need that kind of game to happen, so then you can get things off your chest and then start getting into what you want to get into. So since then we've had a really good response on and off the pitch, which has been brilliant. But I think you see, especially like a game like Saturday where we're 2-0 down, it shouldn't be 2-0 down, we should be 2 or 3 up at the time with the chances we had, but ultimately we were 2-0 down. We didn't defend well enough in those little bits that they had. To come back from that and the mentality they showed, it wasn't gung-ho, it wasn't just smash the ball up and hope for the best. We worked, we were patient, we worked them. We had a lot of possession, but we created a lot of chances. And ultimately, got back into the game. Ultimately, we're disappointed that we didn't win the game. But I think 2-0 down to come back 2-2, another positive result away from home. Was something that we can build on and work towards. A tough game this Saturday.
And of course, it was an unchanged lineup as well. How big is it to reward the consistency on the pitch with the consistency of that team lineup as well?
Yeah, and that was one of the shouts after those type of games. Really was right. You've got to earn your shirt. I want you. If you've got that shirt, I want you to try and earn it and keep it basically. And the lads have done that. I know subs recently have come on and done really well. Changed games, all have done really well. Maybe the timings of the game has helped those subs come on and change the way we approach certain games as well. So they've been really good. But the starters as well have put a shift in first and foremost. They've took on information. They've had a right go. Both boxes we've been a lot better. Probably bar the kind of 2 goals against Morecambe, but we've been really, really good in both boxes. Clinical. To where you could say we weren't clinical enough on Saturday. We could have had a lot more, but we still had moments in the game where we created chances and we were clinical where we needed to. So, there's a lot of positive to take from that, and obviously a lot of positive to take from the sort of consistency within a team. If you're chopping and changing every week, I think the players feed off that. They kind of think, he doesn't really know his best 11, doesn't really know what the right balance is or team is. So I think when you get a little bit of consistency and it's just the odd change here and there, obviously that's good. But ultimately, I think there probably will be, not probably necessarily in the next few games, but towards the end of the season there probably will be a lot more sort of chopping and changing within the squad. Because ultimately we've got to focus on next season and we've got to look at players, how they're going to fit into that. And but that that's probably a few weeks away, and we're at the minute we're trying. We've done really well to try and get that consistency across the board.
And of course, the only change last weekend was an enforced one in the end, with Will Stanway replacing Sam Barnes on the bench. What's the situation, Barnsley?
Yeah, there's so Barnsley. I don't think it's a major one, which is great. Especially with all the setbacks he's had this season and previous. We got himself into a good place. The physios were brilliant, managing him up until a point. Ultimately, we can't. You can't. Wrap them in cotton wool too much. You've got to let them try and play and see if they can get through. Ultimately, he just felt a little bit slight discomfort last week, and I think because of what he's gone through in the past, I think it was sort of don't take a risk basically. So I don't think it's anything major. Maybe 1 to 2 weeks out, and then hopefully he'll be back in and around it then for sort of the last 7-8 games of the season. Hopefully, so fingers crossed, nothing major. Theo's the same. Hopefully in the next week or two he's getting better and stronger, and hopefully those type of players come back, and nothing too major, not long term ones. They're kind of 1 to 2 week ones. So hopefully they'll be back in and around the first team squad at the back end of next week.
And looking ahead to this weekend's game, Wimbledon, another game which, from an outside perspective, people are going to write off Barrow and give it as a home win. So it must be, in all directions, a game which you're looking very much forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we'll go into the game wanting to win the game, taking 3 points like we did Notts County, like we did Morecambe, like we have done, like we do every game. We know it's a tough game. We know it's they're I admire their recruitment. I admire their kind of the profile that they've gone for this year. It's worked really well for them. I know Jacko, the manager, I played with him at Coventry City many years ago, and he's done a fantastic job. Really good job with them. We know it's going to be a tough game, but one we feel we can go and win. We've got 2 really positive results away from home, Notts County and Morecambe away recently. So we should have a lot of confidence and belief. We know it's going to be a really tough ask. They're a really good team. Got some very good footballers. A couple who they took off me last year at Solihull Moors that I was gutted at back then. But they've got some really good players. But we know if we work our socks off like we have done, if our shape off the ball is really good, we know we've got the quality in there to go and hurt anybody on our day. And hopefully, that'll be the case come Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.